All right. Well, welcome everybody to the All Heat team call. I'm excited for this call because we've seen Jamie in and out in our Oregon, Northern, West Coast, Pacific Coast events and stuff. And to get to see her come in as a national marketing director and get to talk to us is really exciting. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nikki Cotton. My husband and I and the Heat NMDs have been having these calls. I think I say 15 years, Chris says 20 years. He keeps saying it longer. So we've been around for a long time doing these Tuesday night calls, and they are really fun. And we're so excited to have you on. And so rather than me talk about me, which I always like to know, just kidding. I just can't wait to introduce Jamie to you. So I'm going to spotlight Jamie right now. So we're going to see you big, Jamie. There you are. Okay. And I'm excited to have her speak tonight. She said something on a little recording that I really loved. She said, you know, you just never know about that next conversation, what it's going to look like and who's it going to bring you. And with a little bit of perseverance, consistency, and coachability, it's all available to you. And Jamie is a mom of 4, and she just told me her eldest daughter is in France, which means she's certainly older than 16. I mean, I just can't believe that you have kids that old, Jamie. So we are excited to hear your story because it's a really amazing story between your kids and yourself in terms of health. And then whatever tips you have, whatever you have to give us your wisdom on the road to NMD, we are taking notes.
Okay, awesome. Do I have access to share my screen?
You do.
Okay. So first of all, can I just congratulate you for getting on tonight? That alone speaks volumes. You are here to learn, and you are here to be equipped, inspired, and this is part of being consistent. You know, Nikki and
recording in progress.
Nikki.
Hold on, everybody. Mute everybody. Hold on. Okay, everybody's muted. You'll have to unmute yourself, Jamie. I thought I had done that, but I didn't.
No worries. It's all good. So Nikki said her and Chris have been doing this for 20 years. That is powerful in and of itself. Consistency will get you where you want to go in this business. So I'm so excited to share with you tonight. I'm going to share my screen so you can see my family real quick. This is my lovely family. I've been married to my husband, Chris, for 23 years, which is crazy. My son is 20 and he's a D1 athlete here in Corvallis. My daughter, Peyton, is the one Nikki talked about. She's 18 and in France. Lauren is 15 and my youngest is 13. So this picture was pre-quarantine. So they're a little bit taller now. But this is my amazing family. This is part of my why and what I do. So I'm going to share part of my story I don't usually share, but just felt burdened to tonight. So this was 18 years ago. My son, and you can see my daughter that's 18 now, she was 6 months at the time. And this picture was taken 2 days before my life was dramatically changed. Because 2 days later, I came home from work. I was teaching 4th grade, and Peyton was not moving her legs. And within 24 hours, we found out she had a tumor the size of a medium cantaloupe that was compressing 90% of her spinal cord, wrapped around her aorta, and had collapsed a lung. She is a walking miracle today. I'm so grateful for modern medicine. But this was a catalyst of me asking big questions. How? Why? Why does a 6-month-old, how does this happen? How does someone get cancer? And I remember we have these emotional impacts that we remember. And 18 years ago, I remember talking to the oncologist and I was like, how does this happen? And she said, neuroblastoma is a type of cancer that can be dormant. But something flips the switch. And she started talking about epigenetics. And I'm like, wait a second, you mean you can keep switches turned off? What the heck? And that kind of started my journey of asking, whoops, I'm going to escape here. Asking big questions. I did not know enough. No one in our family had cancer. We had no history of cancer. They said it developed in utero. I did all the right things. I took my prenatal. I thought I ate pretty well, right? But what I realized is no, not so much. Fast food once a week, like, I mean, I could go on and on. But I decided to radically change our diet and look at our lifestyle. We changed some of our pots and pans. I was reading books, people were giving me information, anything I could do to help my daughter, but also look at ways that we were going to help our future. What about my husband and I? What about future kids that we had? But with my future kids, I kept having sick kids. I was doing all the right things, even in the kitchen. And yet our youngest son, Jordan, he started breaking out in rashes at 3 months of age. And that started a 3-year journey where I was praying on my knees for more tools because we were in and out of doctor's offices. I was trying ointments, steroid creams, naturopathic, you name it. He was down to 15 foods that he could eat without having a reaction. So as a parent, you'll do anything, right? And just like any other day, and this is where I tell you, the next conversation could change your life. Like any other day, I went to my best friend's house and I was about to walk out the door and she said, hey, Lynette gave me this. I'm not really interested, but you might be. And it was the Bridge the Gap DVD. And I walked into my house and I put that thing in and I couldn't believe it. Fruits and vegetables in a capsule? Are you kidding me? All this research, science proving it reduced inflammation in the body, all these things that I had been reading and trying to do myself in a convenient, simple way. I was blown away. And I, of course, emailed Lynette and I wanted to talk to her and ask all the questions. I was that research junkie of like, where do the fruits and vegetables come from? Are they grown in the United States? Is it organic? So if people ask you those questions, don't get irritated. Just ask them why. That's so great. Why do you want to know that? That's such a good question to be asking. And she did that for me. She didn't think that I was silly. She was like, oh, that's a great question. She affirmed me for wanting to know more. And then she got me on a 3-way connection. She knew, she connected my cancer story with Jamie Westerfield's cancer story. And big aha moment and teachable, coachable opportunity. Connection calls work. Jamie casted a vision not only for the product, she talked about how she had not had a polyp, and she in her cancer journey for like 17 years. And that was impactful for me. I wanted and needed to hear that. And then she talked about the business. Now, I wasn't a salesperson, didn't want to do anything like that, but I signed up for the business and the product on the same day because I wanted it at the best price. I wanted all the products because I knew it made sense. It was simple, it was convenient. And even though I was trying to do all the things in the kitchen, I couldn't get the variety and I couldn't get the consistency. I had no story. I was just trusting the research. And my sponsor said, okay, we need to do an event. And I'm like, I'm not doing an event. What do you mean I got to do an event? And she said, remember how you told me you wanted to offset the cost of your product or maybe even pay for your product? She brought me back to my why and had me get to pick up the phone and call some people and invite them to my house. And my hand was shaking. These are some of my best friends, but I cared so much about, like, I don't know, do they want to come? Do they care about fruits and vegetables? But I knew they didn't eat enough. I knew that some of their kids were sick. I knew that they were struggling with knee pain, joint pain, they were athletes, different things. And my sponsor said, I'll do everything. You just get them there. And so I know you have amazing leaders that put on great events. Utilize the tools that you are given, utilize those events, plug people in, because I ended up getting to QSC in 60 days. Even through shaky conversations, even through like things I didn't want to do, because I was coachable and they brought me back to my why. I needed to offset the costs of my product. That's all that I thought about, honestly. And through that came the next thing. And it was another step. Well, what about qualifying your business? Then you can maybe pay for your product. Okay, like what does that look like? Well, let's have some more conversations. Let's do tech splits. Let's share what's happening. And at this point, after 6 weeks for my son, I'm going to jump back. So he reacted to everything. He couldn't eat an orange. He couldn't eat an apple without having an allergic reaction, anything acidic. So what's in Juice Plus? A lot of fruits and vegetables, but the science, right? The hydration, it's going to increase the hydration, the thickness, the circulation. I knew if we could find a way to get it in him, it would do what the science says it does. And so I cut those chewables into force and gradually fed them to him. And at the 6-week mark, his skin cleared up for the first time. And I bawled for 3 days because I couldn't believe that these chewables that tasted like candy to me were helping heal his gut from the inside out. Now, we know that Juice Plus isn't a cure-all, be-all, end-all, but for him and his makeup and his body, it was the catalyst that radically changed his future. And now 8 years later, I mean, he can eat an orange, he can eat an apple. Socially, it's dramatically changed our lifestyle. Like if he gets exposed to gluten because he can't have gluten, what was 2 weeks of inflammation is now maybe a day or two. Like if you understand what the research tells us, this tool can be life-changing. And you don't know, the next conversation could be someone like me praying, begging for more tools. And maybe it's not just for their health, maybe it's for their finances. What could $500 do for someone? What could staying home with their kids do for someone? You just never know until you ask more questions. And I love the 100 conversations, that our company is doing. It's just so good. So that's a little bit of my story. I kind of shared a little more details about our health journey, but in this business, I had no dreams. All I dreamed about was health for my family. Honestly, I was bruised, I was battered. Like I couldn't think of the next day. But what I found was this community wrapped their loving arms around me, and I found like-minded individuals that care about people's health, that care about people's finances. And my sponsor, eventually I got connected to our NMD, Sharon Hilgen, and she started casting vision for me. She started inviting me to more, at the time, Monday night calls that our greater team had. And I started building belief. Some of you, I'm sure you've heard of the 4 beliefs. I needed to build those beliefs, the belief in the product. I needed more belief in our business and what network marketing was. I needed more belief in our company. And ultimately, which I think everyone struggles with the most, I needed belief in myself, because all I dreamed about was health for my family. What about my dreams? I didn't even, I had shelved those for years. But Sharon just kept instilling the next step. What's the next step to qualify your business? What do you need to do to get to SC? Let's have more conversations. Get me on a 3-way connection call. Let's do a thank you call. And I had to exercise that muscle of that shaky hand. I didn't want to, honestly, but every athlete knows that, the road to success looks like this. No one gets to NMD and it's just like so easy. At each level, you have to do things that are uncomfortable. So practice being uncomfortable. You have amazing coaches in your sponsors. Amazing. I've seen them. I've been around them. They're incredible. Utilize them. If you ask for help, they will help you. Okay. But then you also need to do what they encourage you to do. So there's action involved, right? And that's where I'm going to talk about 3 breakthroughs that happened in my business. So the first one, Sharon said, you need to join a networking group. And I was an SC at the time. And I'm like, I don't have time for a networking group. Why do I need to join a networking group? And she's like, I feel like you need to practice speaking more. I feel like you need to get, expand your network. And she told me that for a year and I didn't listen. But I got to SSC and I kind of was stuck a little bit. And she's like, remember, I told you about a networking group, and I finally listened. So the breakthrough happened in that one, you never know, that one conversation that's going to change your life. I went to that networking group, and the lady that I met that was also a visitor, her husband had cancer. And I shared a little bit of my story, and she's like, fruits and vegetables in a capsule, will you meet with us for coffee? And I met with her and him, and he said, what the heck? Fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it's only this much? This is so cheap. So I love that. I love sharing that because some people, the value of these fruits and vegetables in a capsule, I would pay thousands for what it's done for my family, right? And he said, is there a business behind that? He asked me, is there a business behind that? And so he signed up for the product and the business at the same day. And then he introduced me. From that one conversation, he introduced me to his cousin who just lost her husband to cancer 2 months earlier. And she drilled me in that coffee shop. She wanted to know why her vitamins. She's like, I've done all the research. Why can't I do this? What's so special about Juice Plus? And I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know if I have all the answers, but I met her where she was at. I'm like, that's a great question. Like, here's what I know about our research. Here's what I know about our company. And by the end of our conversation, she's like, I don't want anyone to suffer the way my husband did. And you know what? He had a hard time changing his diet, but he could have swallowed a couple capsules. And that was a key moment for me of like, you never know the next conversation. Today, she is one of my strongest legs, and she is on the precipice of QNMD herself. So I love that. So that was a breakthrough in my business, saying yes to a networking group. And then because I was coachable from Sharon Hilgen. Now I'm going to talk about being coachable from the other side. Danny, so she's close to NMD. She said, Jamie, I really think, we had a rep on our team, a partner, and she, in my mind, she wasn't doing very much. And she's like, I feel like we need to get her to an event. We need to get her to Leavenworth. And I was like, Leavenworth, I've been there. Like, it's great. I love it. But I'm not sure it's worth the investment of time and money, right? I'm not sure I'm seeing it. And she saw something in her that I didn't see. She was interacting with her in a way that I wasn't. And she said, Jamie, I need you to be there. I need you to come with me. Oh, I've got chills as I'm saying this. I need you to come with me. And we went to Leavenworth, and it was her first Juice Plus event. She was far away, and she lived in another state than us. And we went to her house after Leavenworth, and we did 2 events. And within 5 days, she got to QSC. And then the next month, she qualified her business. And then within the next year, she was an SC. And now she's an SSC and is a POB, and then brought in another POB underneath her. So again, you never know are you coachable from your downline too? Are people in your organization seeing things that you aren't? This is for leaders, because sometimes we might be looking at the bottom line, but maybe they see something that they need. Is it an event? Is it a 3-way connection call? What do they need for that to be the catalyst to move them forward in their business? So my third breakthrough came during quarantine, and I'm going to share this. I'm going to go back and share my screen. So I got to QNMD in 4 years. And honestly, I thought, woohoo, NMD next month, maybe next year. But that was not my story. It took me 4 more years. And this is where perseverance come in. If you're struggling, maybe you're bruised right now and you're feeling like it took a lot for me to just even get on this call. Well, you're in the right place. This company is a company with a heart, and it will not fail you. I'll just tell you that. Your sponsors, your community, your sidelines, people in this community that don't benefit from you financially will help you. I love that. Success leaves clues. Like, look around, like who can be an influence and an inspiration for you today. So with that third, I forgot I put these in. So this is Danny and I at Leavenworth, and this is Roxanne, and how this is her cute little family. She now has 4 kiddos, and she's a full-time accountant. So you can do this business in your spare moments, and she's a perfect example of that. Busy people do get things done. I think so. Attract people that are more equipped and more, I don't know, have different gift sets, mindsets than you do in this business. So this is the screen I was trying to get to. My other breakthrough came during quarantine, and I have it black because there was a lot of isolation during that time, and yet some of my creativity came back to me. I practiced resting in a way that I hadn't rested before. And I had priorities for my family that maybe weren't intact then. And so for me, the timing of spending time in rest really catapulted me to another level, which came to our leadership retreat. I asked Sharon, this is where she was coachable for me. I said, Sharon, I feel like our leaders, we're desperate to be together. These people feel comfortable being together. Can you help me put something together so we can all, be encouraged, be inspired, and then also work on our systems. I felt like, other teams had better systems than we do. They were more efficient and effective, and that leads to duplicatability, right? So she said, yes. We went down to Southern California, and this was in the fall of 2020. And we planned out the next 6 months. We planned out events. We planned out things for our Facebook group. We dreamed. This is for leaders, like, this is a great book, The Leader's Greatest Return. I brought people to the table, and they rose to the occasion. They wanted a voice. They wanted, to be a part. And from that came great things like, Roxanne got to SSC, and, Rochelle she just got into POB. And, Danny, I've said she's just been building, and she's so close to QNMD. And all of that came from being together in a different way than we hadn't been before. So we also implemented these systems. So I'm sure you guys are doing Project Broadcast. That was a huge shift for me personally in customer care. It makes me more efficient and effective. And then Shelley Mackey's Wheel of Success. Like, it's simple, like even the verbiage, we started using that and passing that along to onboard new team. And that was another catalyst to helping us get the volume that we needed to put us over for NMD status. So those were just some specific things, but I want you to think about, I'm going to leave you with this, who needs to hear your story? What can you offer someone? And why are you doing this business? I think you need to ask yourself that. And every single day, why am I doing this? Because you just need to do one specific thing. One specific thing. It could be pick up the phone, make that call. It could be follow up. But what's the one specific thing you can do today to move your business forward? I'm going to share my screen one last time and show you this video. And I think it really hits on why. We know what we do. We share fruits and vegetables in a capsule. We share we share an aeroponic growing system. But why? When you get to that root of why, it really solidifies
how do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director? Yes, sir. All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick. If you know which version I'm talking about, just see if that exists. Let me see what you got. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
Love that. So that's I'm gonna leave you with that. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna leave you with that. Listen to your sponsors, listen to your upline, be coachable, and know your why, because it will make your what so much clearer, and you never know the next conversation that could change your life or the life of someone else.
Wow. Right? Everybody, wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Way to rock it, Jamie.
Jamie, what it makes me think is all the people that could have been on the call tonight and been live and been in the energy. So first of all, I just want to remind all of you, we have people like Jamie. This was such a great call. And to have, 50 more people on this call to experience her tonight, just the impact alone and the energy as a group would be just so amazing. So I'm just going to encourage you that we get to have people like Jamie, and she's just such an example of what our company is about, who we are and what we stand for. Jamie, and just watching your journey and hearing it, in a half-hour bubble tonight was really powerful and phenomenal. And I know Chris feels the same. We really want to congratulate you, not just for you making NMD, but what you bring to all of us, because that's really the gift, right? So we just so appreciate it. Is there anybody that feels like they would like to just make a comment or ask Jamie a question? And if so, just unmute yourself.
Thank you, Jamie, for bringing your authenticity and your soul. You rocked it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I just wanted to ask something. What sport does your son play at? Is he at Oregon State?
Yes. He plays
Go
soccer.
Beavs.
Yeah, go Beavs.
What sport?
Soccer.
Nice. I was a gymnast there, so that caught my attention.
So I was an elite gymnast back in the day, and
Okay.
but I quit when I was like 13. So
I was probably further back in the day, but I competed for Oregon State in 85 to 89.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
I love hearing that. Yes, lots of friends that have competed at Oregon State over the years. So good.
One thing I just want to say is I put my screen back as on gallery. I don't know if you're all seeing Jamie big, but you can put it on gallery. And I love the fact that instantly friendships can be born here. Like Kristen, I don't know if you ever talked to Jamie before, but you have a connection now. And I find that that's what's so beautiful to have you do that and just have that little bit of personal time right there talking about yourself and your kids and your gymnastic. And that was just beautiful. Thank you for that, Kristen. All right. Well, so once again, Jamie, thank you so much for your time with us tonight. We've been talking about this for a long time to get you on. Really appreciate it. And thanks for everybody coming on tonight. And then at 7 o'clock, we do have a Take Healthy Back call tonight. So if you've got a last minute guest that you want to introduce some great stories and a little bit more about Juice Plus and our mission, you can hop on that with a friend. And once again, love to all of you and have a great week. And Jamie, we so appreciate your time with us tonight. If everybody would unmute themselves.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
You're a rock
Congratulations.
star. Just love
So
your heart.
inspired.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki and
Thank
Jamie.
Thank you so much.
Rock.
Love
Bye.
your passion.
Go Ducks.
I knew you had to say something.
No,
That's hilarious.
I will say we've been